Jay, here's a second video. This is your Filamonica razor, and I found it to be in pretty tough shape, and I'm assuming for you it was not shaving at all. So I'm gonna run through a procedure here and show you how I would choose to hone this razor. Okay, the first thing you're gonna see here on your razor is the fact that the bevels weren't fully set. So you have a very uneven scratch pattern. This is my normal magnification. It's right around 315 power. So I'm just going to scroll along the edge here, and I'm assuming you tried to shave with this razor and it probably didn't do very well. This is what happens when fellows try to refresh an edge week after week after week using other means like a pastage drop or linen or something. It never really sharpens your edge. It just sort of makes it like it's okay for a while, but the actual sharpening doesn't really take place. And you have all kinds of this is a secondary bevel up there. There's not like a line from changing stones. It's just an extremely convex edge. These scratches are going this way, the other scratches are going that way, and it's just sort of a big mess. I'm going to scroll down towards the heel of the razor. This is out towards the toe, and we're going to follow. I'm going to get down. This would be the middle of the razor. Same kind of situation down here. Oops. Same kind of situation down here. And I get down towards the heel. That is rust right there. It's surface rust. It may not go through to the back of the razor, but okay, get down towards the heel. There's some more rust. Now that scratch, you can see a secondary bevel here, the way it reflects the light differently. That deep scratch is there, but this is where the edge has been polished, independent of the rest of the razor. This is rust here, that's pitted rust. When I see an actual hole in the razor in the edge and with a dark spot around it, you can associate that with rust. Instead of banging your razor against a faucet or another piece of steel or something, here's rust down in the razor here. And you can see the secondary bevel here too. This is all rust pitting here, which is really more about maintenance of your razor after you've shaved with it than anything. Okay, we're going to get right down by the heel here. The razor sort of angle is changing because we're getting so close to the... But you can see, again, because of this change in the shading of the steel, This is where secondary bevel, and a lot of people have secondary bevels down around this area on their razors, right at the toe or the heel, especially the heel. Okay, this is right at the heel of the razor right here. Okay. It doesn't, I came all the way down here. It's more academic than anything, but well, this is probably unnecessary. But you can see the secondary bevel down here too. It's very distinct. And I'm so close. Well, this is pretty much at the end of the razor here. Okay, so in any case, take the razor out and we'll do our work on this. And I have my, this is my Shapton 2000 grit stone. This is going to be the workhorse bevel setter for this razor. And this is going to go sort of quick. And I'm not going to go back to the microscope until we have what I consider close to a shavable edge. So as you can see, I'm using diagonal strokes, diagonal to the stone. Okay, it's off. Okay, so I'm going to get back into the middle portion of the razor. So what we've tried to do here is establish a scratch pattern that begins down at the base and continues right up to the edge. This is just the geometry of the bevel. And I'm going to flip the razor over. We're sort of in the middle of the edge here. I'm going to flip the razor over. Notice the scratch pattern is going from 2 down to 7, or 2 down to 8. And here now, it's going to be going in the opposite direction. So we're looking for that scratch pattern to go from the edge down to the base of the bevel in continuous lines. So we do have a set bevel, and this all up here is soft or floppy steel, feather edge, false edge. We're going to remove that with the with this Asagi. We'll get down into where it's better steel, and the first thing I'm going to do to help facilitate that is I'm going to use a glass jar to join the edge. And I have, here we go, and essentially this is this is from salsa jar. So it's pretty much weight of the razor. You don't need any extra pressure. And one pass or two passes, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. But what it does is it gets us working down with better steel right from the get-go. And as you can see here now, it's sort of trimmed up that whole edge thing going. So that now we have that feather edge or that false edge has not been actually removed. It's just been flattened and bent over because we don't see a shadow here. I'm thinking that that edge has been bent over the other side, so I'm going to turn the razor around again. This is the side of the razor that has the Gold Wash logo. And we'll see if that, you can see that line there. Of that feather edge that's just been folded over. Now you can see the shadow and also the line of that that burr that's just been folded over there. So we're going to remove all of that with just one stone. And I have the same stone we used on your other razor. So get the chapter out of the way. This is the Asagi. And I have my trusty worn out Atomate plate or razor slurry. Okay, that's pretty simple. Okay, and here's what our edge is looking like now. Nice and even. And let me scroll all along here a little bit. There's a little bit of a nick. That was from the rust. But we've removed a lot of that rust that was on this razor already. Now you can't really trust this razor too much to begin with until you re-hone it a few times to make sure, because that rust is insidious and it can go, basically when you see a void on the edge like we were looking at, the rust goes from the front to the back of the razor and pretty much just it's rotten steel at that stage. But yours wasn't gone so far that okay, so there's more restoration that could be done on this razor. I think it's going to be shave ready at this stage because that stone was quite aggressive, as you can see. We've done a lot of work all the way along this edge, and I'm going to move down towards the heel where we saw a lot of damage. I'm going to skip down sort of faster so we get down by that heel area. Okay, we're about maybe a half an inch from the heel now. I can see we need a little bit more work to do in there. You can see some reflection. Oh, by the way, this, although it's not a smiling edge, this razor does have quite a bit of a curve to it at both the toe and the heel. I think it's from the factory, the way they ground these. So like I said, it's not like a smiling edge, but there is a certain amount of curvature leading to the toe and the heel. So this part of the razor would need quite a bit more work. Well, not a whole lot of work, and I'm just going to pull us into the heel area here. I hope you can remember how much rust there was here initially. There's a whole blotch of it there that I think was up into the bevel portion too when we looked at it previously. And that may have been bleeding up there too. There's still some rust on the edge there. But in any case, what we're going to do is strop this razor a little bit and see if we can get it to pass HHT. Okay, so I did move the razor towards the center of the blade. Here's the base of the bevel. This is really quite a narrow bevel because the razor's almost brand new. So you can see the edges become quite a bit more refined. That's damage there in the edge that will come out in further honings as long as you go back to the bevel set stage. There's so many people that sort of circumvent the bevel setting stage when it should almost be like second nature to get out your 1,000 or 2,000 grit stone. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I can clean up that edge even a little bit more with just the lightest amount of palm stropping. Give it another look at the edge since we're here. And what you're going to notice is the edge portion reflects the light differently now, because palm stropping actually does do a certain amount of polishing. So there are some irregular portions of the blade, but I'll bet you $1 that this is going to be a good shaving edge just the way it sits. And for an indicator, we'll just get a piece of hair here and do a HHT test. I've got 2 pieces of hair. Okay. Well, I was wrong. Well, that was like a 3. Took a little effort. Well, that's a 4, close to a 5. I guess it's at the toe here, it's a little bit weak. But in the middle portion, it's just fine. This is not going to be the ultimate shaving edge at this stage. But with just going back to the stone with a few passes, I think we could actually get this to shave very nicely. A little bit more stropping, whatever. At this stage, the difference between this edge shaving like a barber or shaving like some super edge, it's really just a few microns. It's not like a whole another set of scratches or polishes or anything. So a lot of these at this stage, just a few passes on a stone can make a big difference.